Oh, past Brian, you poorly timed bastard. Who could have guessed that on the same week that WWE announced a landmark streaming rights deal with Netflix and TKO welcomed the most powerful man in entertainment into their board of directors just days before a massive premium live event, that there could be even bigger, worse, horrifying news in its future? Hours after I posted this naive, doe-eyed video, scandal broke out once again surrounding Vince McMahon, WWE's executive chairman and infallible God King, only now he has officially resigned from all of his positions there. Again! This came on the heels of a massive lawsuit filed on Thursday by Janelle Grant, a former WWE employee, and the woman who was at the center of that first Wall Street Journal report in 2022, which led to Vince's initial ouster from the company. Ms. Grant claims in the lawsuit that Vince gave her a cushy job in the company in exchange for sexual favors, often of a denigrating or humiliating nature. The suit alleges that he showed explicit pictures and videos of her to other people in the company without her consent, and even trafficked her to other men in the company, including a top WWE star and former VP and current co-defendant with McMahon, John Laurinaitis. Vince made Grant sign an NDA at the end of their relationship, which was apparently nullified after he failed to complete paying her the hush money that he promised her. If you are aware of Vince's history of not paying the territories he bought out, it really tracks. In all seriousness though, the 67-page lawsuit is, to put it mildly, a tough one to stomach. Every accusation is worse than the last. It paints a grim and graphic picture of a man who allegedly groomed a vulnerable woman by showering her with attention and gifts, ultimately intimidating her into a non-consensual sexual relationship. A man who supposedly used his unchecked power and influence in the company to keep her silent. A man who created a company culture that aided and abetted his behavior. Of course, much like the last time it came up, the story and the lawsuit has been met with its share of detractors. Innocent until proven guilty. He deserves his day in court. The woman is lying. And yes, those first two statements are certainly true. But consider this, Ms. Grant is not the only woman who has come forth against McMahon for similar behavior. Rita Chatterton comes to mind. Then there was that story of Vince and this woman at a tanning salon in Florida in the mid-2000s. A story that strangely just kind of went away. Now keep in mind, Vince McMahon has spent a lot of money on NDAs over the years. That means the number of women with stories similar to Ms. Grant's has to be in the multiples. And like I say with Bill Cosby, they can't all be lying. And even if 99% of her story is a lie, if all but one thing listed in that lawsuit is some fantastical fabrication meant purely as a power grab, any one of those things would still be way over the line for an executive and his employee. This is not an isolated incident. This is a series of claims that lines up with a very specific pattern of behavior that spans the decades of incidents both alleged and confirmed by witnesses. I said it once in 2022, and I'll say it again now. Vince McMahon had to go for the good of the company, especially in the environment it's in today. WWE isn't his anymore. It hasn't been since TKO formed, and he can't go around being allowed to act like it still is. And again, even if the allegations are not true, Vince McMahon just being there is a huge albatross that could ruin everything for WWE's potential future. But don't worry, McMahon and Johnny Ace are not the only ones who've needed to go. There has been smoke surrounding this man for about as long as many of us have been alive. And you can't be responsible for this many alleged fires if you don't have a bunch of people around you to help fan the flames. There are most definitely high-ranking WWE and/or TKO officials who are aware of Vince's alleged behavior, both of these current allegations and things in the past, and they have by and large seemingly allowed to let it happen. Look, I don't care if it's an intern or a personal assistant or an executive. I don't care if it's the Booker of the Year. If there are people in the upper tier of this company who were aware of Vince's alleged behavior and allowed it to happen, or were part of what the lawsuit claims was a sham investigation, then they should all be held accountable as well. After one false start, it appears that Vince McMahon's tenure in WWE has finally been compromised to a permanent end. I gotta be honest, after him coming back last year, I didn't really think that it could ever truly happen. No matter the controversies or the scandals scandals that he's endured over the decades, often as a result of his own pride and ego, he's generally been able to skate by on his charisma and his influence. Who can forget that victory lap he took a couple of years ago, the week that Wall Street Journal story first broke? That certainly aged well. This story has absolutely rocked the wrestling world. It's a huge deal, and the timing of it compared to everything else going on this week is insane. And here's the thing, we haven't even left the month of January yet. We haven't even reached the Royal Rumble. I know I'm far from the only person out there who feels, at the very least, somewhat conflicted watching and supporting a product from a company with this ever-growing mountain of skeletons in its infinitely expanding closet. Rita Chatterton, Jimmy Snuka being bailed out by Vince McMahon, the Ring Boy scandal, the death of Owen Hart, Sable's sexual harassment lawsuit, Ashley Massaro's assault in Kuwait, and now a lawsuit that exposes a toxic company-wide culture with McMahon's DNA all over it. Pun extremely intended. It is often a struggle to watch or enjoy, or in my case, review a product that has been plagued in its history with so much scandal, and this lawsuit just reopens that wound. Because of that, on some level, it will be a bit awkward trying to enjoy the Royal Rumble this weekend, but knowing that Vince McMahon is seemingly no longer being protected gives me slight comfort that I can enjoy the show a bit easier. And after the month I've had, I need it. My heart goes out to Ms. Grant, and I for one believe her story because it rings so similar to other stories over the decades. I hope that she and other victims can find peace. Vince McMahon's second resignation doesn't make up for all the lives that he has destroyed over the years in so many different ways, but his removal is hopefully the first step toward creating a better WWE that fans can be truly proud of. Vince McMahon obviously helped make WWE what it is today and played a vital role in changing professional wrestling as we know it. But that doesn't make the company his forever. Enjoy your time off, Vince. You've earned it. Don't come back. I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.